Everybody's concerned about their DNA, man. Everybody want to know where they from, their ancestry. I think it's fucked up to live in America where they stole you from your homeland, then sell your ancestry back to you. Like, you know, for $100, I'll show you where we stole you.
You and your sister liking the same guy.
Honestly, that is ultimately what got the show picked up. But also, you know, in terms of the gender and sexualities and stuff like that, it was very important because that happens, you know.
This story didn't just start with a joke. It started with a reaction that shocked Hollywood. Two veteran comedians, known for pushing boundaries, suddenly found themselves at the center of a cultural firestorm. Katt Williams and DL Hughley didn't hold back. Their comments about E.J. Johnson, the son of NBA legend Magic Johnson, have now triggered one of the most uncomfortable conversations in entertainment today. And it's not just about comedy anymore. It's about identity, power, and what really happens behind the scenes in Hollywood. Because here's where things get complicated. E.J. Johnson isn't just any celebrity kid. He's bold, unapologetic, and constantly in the spotlight for redefining gender expression in ways that confuse, inspire, and sometimes outrage audiences. But when Katt and DL stepped in, they didn't just criticize. They questioned everything. From identity to biology, from fame to influence.
Magic Johnson's son wasn't good.
He ain't hoop. Well, he did, just not on the court. Respect.
That nigga.
And now, people are asking a much bigger question. Is this really about free speech? Or are we witnessing a deeper divide between old-school Hollywood and a new generation rewriting the rules? What makes this even more intense is the silence from certain powerful figures. Magic Johnson himself, a global icon, a father caught in the middle, smiling in public, but many believe there's more beneath the surface. And then there's Katt Williams' darker claims. Not jokes, not satire. Claims about rituals, control, and hidden agendas that sound too extreme to ignore, yet too unsettling to dismiss completely. So what really happened? Why now? And why is everyone suddenly talking about E.J. Johnson again? Stay with us, because this story goes far deeper than anyone expected.
He said he presents more feminine. And he's also made it clear that he is not attracted to gay men, but he prefers straight men. Now, let's talk about it. When I hear that, what it sounds like to me is not necessarily that he's attracting straight men, but that he may be attracting men that are presenting as straight. And to me, that's two different things. Because if someone has...
E.J. Johnson has never tried to blend in. From reality television appearances to high-fashion runways, E.J. has built a public identity centered on confidence, luxury, and complete self-expression. But recently, things escalated. During a public appearance in Paris, E.J. was spotted wearing a bold leather dress paired with towering heels. The images spread instantly across social media, reigniting debates that had never truly gone away. What pushed the situation further was E.J.'s own statements. In interviews and clips circulating online, E.J. claimed to attract straight men and even suggested looking better than most women. That's when confusion turned into controversy. Critics began questioning the logic behind those claims, while supporters defended E.J.'s right to self-identify without explanation. This is where DL Hughley stepped in. Known for his sharp commentary, DL didn't hesitate to challenge what he saw as contradictions. He argued that while people are free to identify however they want, biology remains unchanged. His words quickly gained traction, especially among audiences who feel modern identity conversations have gone too far. But the real explosion came when Katt Williams entered the discussion. Unlike DL, Katt didn't just focus on E.J. He expanded the conversation into something much bigger, something darker. He suggested that Hollywood itself plays a role in shaping these identities, pushing narratives for reasons most people don't fully understand. Now, whether people agree or disagree, one thing is clear. This is no longer just about E.J. Johnson. It's about a clash of perspectives, a generational divide between traditional beliefs and evolving identities. And in the middle of it all is a family navigating public scrutiny on a global stage.
Magic Johnson's son just said he's only attracted to straight men. Let me help you out, Magic Johnson's son. You're attracted to gay men. They just ain't came out the closet. Any man that sleeps with a man, any man that entertains a man, you were always gay.
DL Hughley's comments didn't come out of nowhere. For years, he has positioned himself as a voice willing to challenge uncomfortable topics, especially those tied to culture and identity. But this time his words struck a different nerve. When he spoke about E.J. Johnson, he wasn't just making a joke. He was questioning a larger societal shift that many people are still trying to understand. His central argument was simple but controversial. You can adopt any identity you choose, but there are biological realities that remain unchanged. For some, that perspective feels grounded in logic. For others, it feels dismissive and outdated. And that's exactly why his comments went viral. Because they reflect a tension that exists far beyond Hollywood. But DL wasn't alone in this conversation. Social media exploded with divided opinions. Some users praised him for saying what they believe others are too afraid to say. Others accused him of being insensitive and out of touch. The debate quickly moved from E.J. Johnson to a broader cultural battlefield where no side seemed willing to back down.
When you first got the information, did you ever say to yourself, it was that nasty bitch from Sacramento who did that?
You think like that, no question about it. But I think
at the same time, E.J. continued to remain largely unbothered in public appearances. Confident, composed, and fully in control of the narrative being presented. That contrast only added fuel to the fire. While critics argued over identity, E.J. doubled down on visibility. And that's where the conversation shifted again. Because if DL Hughley represents one side of the debate, Katt Williams represents something entirely different. Not just criticism but suspicion. Not just disagreement but accusation. And what Katt would say next would take this story into territory few expected.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know, lately, Magic Johnson's son, EJ, AJ, whatever, he been making the news. You know, one of the most recent things was he said that he only dates straight men, not attracted to, you know, nobody in the LGBTQ. He only dates straight men. And I'm like, okay, wait.
Katt Williams didn't treat this like a simple cultural disagreement. Instead, he framed it as part of a much larger system operating behind the scenes of Hollywood. During his appearance on a major podcast, Katt suggested that the entertainment industry is built on control. Not just financial control, but psychological control over celebrities and their public image. According to Katt, certain behaviors that seem unusual or controversial aren't random at all. He believes they are part of a pattern. A system designed to test how far individuals are willing to go in exchange for success, fame, and protection. One of the most controversial parts of his claim involved symbolic acts that he described as rituals. Actions that may appear harmless or artistic on the surface but carry deeper meaning within elite circles. Katt pointed to examples throughout Hollywood history where male celebrities have been seen wearing dresses or engaging in behavior that challenges traditional masculinity. While many view these moments as expressions of creativity or comedy, Katt sees them differently. He interprets them as moments of submission. A signal that a celebrity is willing to comply with expectations, no matter how uncomfortable they may be. This perspective is highly controversial and widely debated. There is no verified evidence supporting these claims as organized practices. However, what makes Katt's statements impactful is not necessarily their accuracy, but the reaction they provoke. People begin to question patterns, connect dots, and reconsider narratives they once accepted without hesitation. And when you place E.J. Johnson into this framework, the conversation becomes even more intense. Because now it's no longer just about identity. It's about influence. About who shapes these narratives and why.
As a seasoned gay, there is no confusion. If you are confused about this E.J. Johnson interview and the discussion around straight identifying men dating queer people, this conversation is for you.
Magic Johnson has spent decades building one of the most respected images in sports and business. From his legendary NBA career to his success as an entrepreneur, he has consistently been viewed as a symbol of positivity, resilience, and leadership. But behind that public image is a father navigating a deeply personal situation under constant public scrutiny. When E.J. Johnson first came into the spotlight, Magic made it clear that he supports his child unconditionally. In interviews, he expressed love, acceptance, and pride. Those statements were widely praised, especially at a time when conversations around identity were becoming more visible but still faced resistance. However, as EJ's public persona evolved, so did public perception. Some observers began to analyze Magic's body language during interviews, suggesting that his reactions didn't always align with his words. These interpretations are subjective, but they have contributed to ongoing speculation about how he truly feels behind closed doors. This is where the pressure becomes immense. Magic Johnson is not just a father. He is a global brand. Every statement he makes carries weight. Every reaction is scrutinized. In today's media environment, even a slight deviation from expected support could lead to backlash, criticism, and potential damage to his reputation. At the same time, cultural expectations have shifted dramatically since Magic's playing days. The environment he grew up in is very different from the one EJ is navigating today. That generational gap adds another layer of complexity to an already sensitive situation. And while Magic continues to present a united and supportive front, the question remains: is that the full story or just the version the public is allowed to see?
Magic Johnson opened up about his gay son in an interview with TMZ. He says that he knew his son was gay before he even came out to him, and here's what his reaction was.
It's interesting when you're his parents, and we finally had to sit down and talk about it, and I told him, look, I'm gonna love you regardless, just let me know. Are you?
The conversation doesn't stop with Magic Johnson. Across Hollywood and professional sports, a noticeable pattern has emerged. Several high-profile figures known for traditional masculinity now have children who identify outside conventional gender norms. This shift has sparked discussions about whether it reflects broader societal change or something more specific to celebrity culture. Names like Dwayne Wade, Marlon Wayans, and others have publicly supported their children, often emphasizing love and acceptance above all else. These moments are frequently celebrated in media coverage as examples of progress and compassion. But at the same time, critics argue that these situations are sometimes presented in ways that feel overly curated or performative. For some observers, the concern is not about acceptance itself, but about authenticity. They question whether public figures are expressing their genuine feelings or simply aligning with expectations to protect their image and career. In an industry where perception can determine success, that distinction becomes incredibly important. Katt Williams' perspective feeds directly into this narrative. If his claims about control and influence hold any truth, then these situations could be interpreted as part of a larger system rather than isolated family dynamics. Again, there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, but its popularity highlights a growing skepticism toward Hollywood narratives. Meanwhile, younger audiences tend to view these developments differently. For them, identity is fluid, personal, and not bound by traditional definitions. This generational divide is one of the key reasons why debates like this become so intense. Because ultimately, this isn't just about celebrities. It's about how society defines identity, truth, and acceptance in a rapidly changing world.
Now, EJ Johnson's under fire because he admitted, he goes, the gays, they don't want me. And, I'm not really attracted to them like that. When I want to get down, I go to the straight club. Right? So everybody's all up in arms because EJ Johnson said that. Mm-hmm. Okay, EJ Johnson looks like this, y'all. Don't get mad at him and don't hate because he can trap. Mm-hmm. Now, when I say trap, I don't mean trapping in a negative way.
EJ Johnson remains at the center of this storm, but his approach has been consistent. He does not apologize. He does not retreat. And most importantly, he does not allow criticism to dictate how he presents himself to the world. That level of confidence is precisely what makes him both admired and criticized. In interviews, EJ has spoken about rejecting traditional labels altogether. Rather than identifying strictly within existing categories, he prefers to exist outside of them. For supporters, this represents freedom, a refusal to be confined by expectations. For critics, it creates confusion and raises questions about clarity and consistency. This tension is amplified by the way media portrays EJ. Headlines often focus on controversy rather than context, highlighting statements that generate reactions rather than understanding. As a result, the public conversation becomes fragmented, with different audiences interpreting the same actions in completely different ways. At the same time, EJ's lifestyle reflects a level of privilege that cannot be ignored. Access to wealth, connections, and platforms allows for a degree of self-expression that may not be available to others. That reality shapes how people perceive his choices and the impact they have. Katt Williams' claims, whether accurate or not, tap into this perception. If Hollywood is indeed shaping narratives, then individuals like EJ become symbols within a larger story. Symbols that can be celebrated, criticized, or analyzed depending on perspective. But beyond all theories and debates, one fact remains. EJ Johnson is living his life publicly, fully aware of the reactions it generates. And in doing so, he continues to challenge not just Hollywood, but the audience watching it.
Talk about Magic Johnson's son, daughter, I don't know, child, EJ Johnson. So Magic Johnson has this son who's about 6'2". I believe he lost a lot of weight or had lap band or something. He looks great, he looks thin. But he's caused a stir online for saying that he looks better in women's clothing than actual women. And so he also thinks that he has a better shot at dating straight guys than actual women. And here's my thing.
What makes this situation particularly compelling is the intersection of comedy, culture, and controversy. Both Katt Williams and DL Hughley built their careers on speaking freely, often addressing topics others avoid. Their audiences expect honesty even when it is uncomfortable. However, the boundaries of what is considered acceptable have shifted significantly over time. Statements that may have been seen as standard comedic commentary in the past can now be interpreted as offensive or harmful. This evolution creates tension between artistic expression and social responsibility. In this context, their comments about EJ Johnson become more than just opinions. They become part of a larger conversation about who gets to speak, what can be said, and how it should be interpreted. Some argue that limiting such discussions restricts free speech. Others believe that certain topics require greater sensitivity and awareness. At the same time, the reactions to these comments reveal deeper societal divisions. People are not just responding to the words themselves, but to what those words represent. For some, it is a defense of traditional values. For others, it is resistance against perceived intolerance. This dynamic ensures that the conversation will not end anytime soon. As long as there are differing perspectives, there will be debates, reactions, and new developments. And perhaps that is the most important takeaway. The story is not static. It is evolving in real time, shaped by every comment, every clip, and every opinion shared across platforms worldwide. Now we want to hear from you. Because this story isn't just about celebrities. It's about perspective. About how you interpret what's happening and what it means moving forward. Do you agree with DL Hughley's stance on biology and identity? Do you think Katt Williams is exposing something deeper about Hollywood? Or do you believe EJ Johnson is simply living authentically in a world that's still catching up? There's no single answer. And that's exactly why this conversation matters. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read everything. And trust us, the debate is just getting started. If you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to hit the like button. It helps push these conversations to a wider audience. And if you want more deep dives into Hollywood's biggest controversies, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because we're not just reporting stories. We're uncovering what's behind them. And you won't want to miss what's coming next. Stay informed. Stay curious. And we'll see you in the next one.